Matthew, how bizarre was that, this second quarter business? How did you sort of handle it in the box, and what was the reaction?
The emergency exit?
Yeah, the false alarm.
Well, in the end, I think it was handled pretty well, to be honest. A little bit of a shock. Just glad everyone's okay in the end and that it was something small or a false alarm. But I thought it was handled quite well, considering it didn't really affect us at all.
You looked like you were coming into the game a little bit in that third quarter, and then they blew you away. And that sort of 6-minute patch, 4 goals, and it was almost game over. How do you look back on this one?
I think we should use that emergency as maybe a momentum changer. Look, there's the things we didn't get right today. We were inconsistent again. We had some moments where we were undisciplined, which cost us. In the end, the inside 50. So where the game was played, challenged us a bit. But we had 51, I think, to 54. The game's in the balance. They were a lot more clinical when they went forward, and we didn't take our chances. Unfortunately, we had opportunities and didn't compete or let ourselves down, silly free kicks. So in the end, that weighs on a team, when the ball goes then back down the other end. And it's a massive work on for us, because we can't afford that at the moment. We're working hard to try and stay in games, and I felt like that was one of the biggest differences. The other one's probably we invited pressure. We had plenty of first hands in stoppage. I think we lost the tackle count, something like -15 in stoppage, which tells us that we're coughing that ball up and missing handballs. So fundamentals, things we work on week in, week out. But that's what happens under pressure when you play on the MCG against a side that's going to bring the heat. We let ourselves down in that space.
You're talking about fundamentals. It looked like there was a concerted effort to maintain possession a bit more today, more uncontested marks, but probably still too many turnovers.
Yeah, I thought, and early I thought that looked, like the guys had come prepared well. I thought we moved the ball quite well. We had our opportunities. Did we go a little slow at times? Yeah, that's still a work on. That's the challenge for our group, to keep working on what that looks like. This balance between challenging and opposition. We knew what they'd bring, and early it looked in our favour. Missed our opportunities when we had them, and they went down and scored. I think we owned the first 5 or so minutes of the game. But our plan to come in was played out pretty well by the guys early, and then we weren't able to then bring the contest. I mentioned that, fumbling the ball, missing handballs. It's got to be a full balanced game. It can't be get one area right and not the other.
How bad's Sloan? Do you expect him to play next week?
Yeah, look, it's a 6-day break we're on. It's a bit of soreness through his adductor, I believe, and he tried to push on. He's a soldier. He was just working right throughout that third, and in the end, it's just getting worse and worse for him. So, we had no choice in the end. But fingers crossed, it pulls up well.
Did it happen pretty early? It looked like he sort of grabbed out at the first quarter, I thought.
Yeah, I think he might have been a little sore early, but I think it was through that third where he started to really grind with it. That'll be a challenge for us to see if we can get him right for showdown on Friday.
Obviously, a little bit of talk around Riley Thilthorpe coming out of the side. What did you think of the tall forwards with him not there, and can you give us a bit of an insight into why Riley didn't play this week?
Yeah, firstly, I don't think I think we look back on it as a group and say we didn't get it done ahead of the ball today. I mentioned undisciplined acts. It wasn't so much being outmarked, but just our inability to fight and keep the ball in there. It's probably been an area we've struggled with, and if I then come back to Riley, it's been the area for him. A young kid, he's in his second year, he's developing as a footballer. The decision's made for him to play a game of footy this morning, and he had an outstanding game at SANFL level. Try and find some of that confidence that he had when he was drafted, and let him go at the ball hard. When you play at this level and you're a key forward, you're basically being tagged every week. You've got a key back who's there, who's going to put you away. It's the hardest position to come in as a young kid into footy. And we saw Mackay talk about it post-game, with Carlton, and he is in outstanding form. He's good to watch. He's in his 7th year, and last year he really stepped up. He won the Coleman, and it's taken time. He talked through that. His first couple of years, it was a real challenge for him. We've got some guys in that space at the moment that are working through that. We want to make sure they develop well, and we want to make sure they don't lose confidence altogether. So we'll make some decisions around that as we go.
So it's not as simple as just going, all right, we're a developing side, let's just pump games into this kid. It just can't be handled that way.
Oh, there's a balance with it. There's a balance on, you know, pumping a kid out there every week and not, you know, not giving him any confidence to go and fight. I'm hoping this morning, and I'll speak to him probably before we get on the plane to go back, see how he feels and how he's going. He's a super important part of what this footy club is doing. His teammates love him. I haven't worked with someone who works as hard as he does. With this comes challenges. You know, he's a big lad. He's probably still growing. We'll keep working with him, and he'll be back.
The fundamentals and contest stuff, how do you turn that around in 6 days? It's going to be pretty hot around the contest next week, obviously.
You'd hope so. Yeah, we've already talked through that. We sat down as a group. You know, we've got to shoot to the airport, but we'll make sure we review this well. We'll do some more detail on it, but we know how to train it. You know, was our focus, was it not strong enough in that area today? When you look back, yeah, possibly. We've got to be better in that space. There are ways to train it. 6-day break makes that hard, but we'll go hard this week. We'll really work on that ability to absorb pressure and bring it, you know, to the opposition.
Any other injury concerns?
None that I know about yet. It's pretty short time after the game to this point, but none that I've.
How do you look ahead of that one just early? You sort of touched on it a little bit, Port Adelaide next week, showdown, obviously the biggest game in town next week. There's a chance, you know, obviously you want to avoid it, but you could fall into a zip and 3 hole. Do you have to ignore the ladder and those sorts of things at this stage?
Oh, we go 1 week, we move on from today. We've already moved on from today. We'll review still and we'll look at some of the detail in it. But we know where we lost the game today, and you guys knew it as well. Post game, it's, you know, if you don't protect the footy and you don't treat that footy like gold, well, you're going to get hurt. And they did that today. More experienced side came out and punished us for some of the mistakes we made. We'll move on to showdown and give it everything we've got.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thanks very much. Cheers.